Tomser Cat, home of brilliant children's books. Meow!
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode, and today I'm going to be reviewing Clover Moon. Now this is a different girl with a different background story, not like Hetty, Feather and Diamond. So I'm going to read the blurb for you to find out more. Clover Moon lives in Cripp's Alley, a grimy back street of Victorian London, with 6 younger siblings, her weary father and his sharp-tongued, uncaring second wife. Devoted to her sister Megs, sparky and imaginative Clover is quick to learn her letters and loves to get a chance to paint or draw. But despite her talents, she is condemned to life as a household skivvy. Then a chance meeting with an artist gives her an inspiring glimpse of another world and an idea of how she might find it. So, Clover Moon is a completely different person to Hetty. Well, sort of. She is actually quite bold and brave. She lives in this, well, as I said in the blurb, this, hang on, I'll just find it. Yeah, Cripp's Alley. So it's not really a nice place to live. She's got quite a poor family. And I've also mentioned that she's got a horrible stepmother. And very uncaring and, well, Clover actually, she's very brave and she looks after all her siblings, and the person she loves most is Megs, because that's her actual sister who her mother gave birth to. And she loves Meg so much. And she also takes care of all her siblings. She takes the blame. Say if one of her siblings does something wrong, she says she done it and then she gets the cane. Now in those days, it wasn't very nice in the Victorian times. If you were naughty, they would either cane you or punish you or something like that. So Clover got punished quite a lot because she took the blame, and maybe sometimes it was her fault. But her awful stepmother actually canes her. Her father doesn't, because he's completely different. So her mother and her father, well, her mother died with childbirth. I think she died giving birth to Megs, her little sister. So Clover is about 11 years old, and also she cares for this little boy who is her stepmother's son, called Bert. She's also got other siblings, quite a lot actually. Can't exactly remember all their names, but I think one is called Peter, Bert, Mary. Well, I can't exactly remember them all because there's quite a lot. So her father is actually, he goes to this pub while they're in their house. He goes to he drinks and everything. He drinks drugs, and no, that's not good for you. And he gets drunk and stuff, and well, her stepmother keeps telling him stop drinking and you need to eat your food or something like that. So poor Clover is in this house where no one really cares for her. Well, her father does, but not in a way like a normal father would, because he doesn't pay much attention. And her dad's saying, oh yeah, Dad's a very caring father as well, not like Dad who looks after me more. Hi Dad. Okay, so Clover is definitely different. I think she's less she sticks up for herself. Actually, so does Hetty as well, so they are quite the same. Actually, I think I've told you that Hetty actually has a friend called Miss Smith. And actually Miss Smith is in this book, and that's exactly how it actually connects to the story. So Clover meets Miss Smith along the way in probably about the middle of the book. But she also meets this nice artist called Mr. Rivers, as it says in the book. And she's very inspired by him. And I also forgot to mention, there's this lovely man called Mr. Dorey, and she thinks of Mr. Dorey as her more. She thinks of Mr. Dorey as her father more than her actual father, because he actually cares for her, and he teaches her how to write, how to spell, how to read. Actually, it says in the book that she's the only one that knows how to read because Mr. Dorey teaches her. Now, it's quite a coincidence really, because Mr. Dorey actually makes wooden dolls. He runs this shop, and Clover really wants to work there with him because she really loves Mr. Dorey. But they also say that no one likes Mr. Dorey because he's like a backward, which is someone who doesn't know much. He doesn't know, they think he doesn't know anything. They think he's useless, say you don't know anything, let's say. They didn't know about dyslexia or dyscalculia in those days, so they were called as a backward. Now, if I was in the Victorian times, I probably would have been called a backward because they've never heard of dyslexia, and I have dyslexia, so it was very different. It was a lot cruel in the Victorian times, I would say. And they didn't know about all these things until now. So no one liked Mr. Dorey, and no one liked backwards. So no one liked them because they didn't know. They think they didn't know anything, or they didn't have anything special about them. And her father and stepmother, actually tell her not to go to Mr. Dorey because he's a backward, and no one likes a backward. But Mr. Dorey is actually a very gentle, lovely man who loves Clover really so much that he treats her just like a daughter. So he teaches her how to learn, basically. And she goes there quite a lot, even though she's forbidden not to go. But she still really loves Mr. Dorey and everything. For some reason it doesn't mention him in the thing, I don't think. But he's along in the start. So he makes wooden dolls, and Clover really wants to work with him. But when she grows older, she's gonna have to be work in a workhouse, because for women, they didn't have much optional jobs. There wasn't very good jobs at all for women. They had to do, say, the laundry, the washing, the dusting, they had to clean the house. They had to wash clothes. Now, if I was in the Victorian times, I'm 14 now, so I'd either be in the workhouse or be a servant, because if I was in a foundling hospital, I'd be a servant. But if I was had parents, I'd be working in a workhouse, scrubbing clothes, and it's horrible. I know it's horrible because I can see what it's like, because there's also series of Hetty Feather as well, which you should it's not as good as the books though. It's never as good as the books. The books are way better. More adventure. So back to Clover. There's more characters in this that I would actually like to mention. I do sort of want to mention this character. So basically, this character, from Mr. Rivers, he tells Clover about the destitute girls who, that means have nowhere to go, lost in the streets, and they go into their destitute home. Now, this girl called Marianne, which is actually my middle name, but this girl called Marianne is quite mean to Clover in the book when Mr. Rivers tells her about the destitute thing and when she goes and stuff. So I'm not going to tell you any more about the book because that will just spoil everything. You'll have to read the book to find out more. Now, I really enjoyed this book. I would probably give it 5 stars actually. I've given all my Hetty Feather and Jacqueline Wilson books 5 stars because I think Jacqueline Wilson is an amazing author. She really sees how little girls suffer, or little boys, but probably mostly little girls because boys were more in charge than girls, because when they grow up to be men were basically the boss and women were just like nothing to them or something. So she really sees in the Victorian times how girls actually suffered and had to go places where they didn't want to go, lost their mothers and fathers, or maybe had their mother but their mother couldn't take care of them because she didn't have a father, she didn't have a husband. So it's very different to how it is now. Girls suffered a lot, but I really like the way Jacqueline Wilson actually sees the Victorian times, and actually I've learnt more about what happened in the Victorian times from these books. It's got different sorts of languages in it, like saying like penny farthings, those were in those days. They're very old now, and they also called money guineas. Guineas. Like 5 guineas or 10 guineas. So they have different sorts of languages in there, which I've actually quite learnt. And I think this is like an amazing book. It also says on the back that Clover actually speaks here. It says, "When my mother named me, she must have been thinking of a lucky 4-leafed clover. I'm sure mother wanted me to be lucky." So Clover thought that like a 4-leaf clover, people say 4-leaf clovers are like lucky, and they are, and it's got quite a lot of clovers on the back, and also from outside of this it's also got beautiful clovers to represent Clover. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I hope you do too. Don't forget to like, subscribe and click the bell, and you'll never miss another episode. Thank you for watching. Bye.